Destiny and space magic. They go together like peanut butter and jelly, but unlike peanut butter and jelly though, Destiny can get rather convoluted at times with all of the systems and layers and just general things involved in its gameplay. It's fun for sure, and I think worth any potential hassle, but it's overwhelming at times nonetheless, especially for less experienced players. And that's where I come in. Recently I started doing beginner's guides to all the different subclass elements inside of Destiny, seeing as they have all been updated within the past year. And now, it's time for our third subclass, Void 3.0. If you haven't seen them already, I definitely recommend watching the last two videos I made on Arc and Solar 3.0, but I will still be going over all the key information here, so no worries if you're feeling lazy. But it would really help me out if you go and watch it, leave a like. Okay, anyway, let's stop wasting time and get into it, shall we? Time to cover the same bases again, baby. So, every subclass element in Destiny 2 has its own unique identity that defines its playstyle. For Arc, it was all about speed and aggression. For Solar, it was about healing and burning. The same concept applies to the Void elements, but it's a tad more complicated. Let me explain. You see, Void is all about going invisible, causing explosions and debuffing enemies, but it can also buff your allies sometimes. You see, Void can basically do anything you would want. It's got utility, it's got damage, it even has really good healing capabilities. Void is somewhat of an enigma in regards to its personality, because it actually just does everything to an extent. And I'm not kidding when I say it does everything. But don't let that scare you. This aspect of Void just makes it really, really versatile and really, really good. Now, back to the actual guide part of the video. The subclass system in Destiny 2 is built upon three fundamental pillars. These pillars interact with each other in various ways to create something very powerful. These pillars are Verbs, Aspects, and Fragments. As always, let's start with Verbs. Now, Verbs are keywords that tell you what a subclass does. Buffs, debuffs, and status effects that define the class, and Void has a whopping 6 of these verbs. They're pretty straightforward though, so first, these verbs are Invisibility, Overshield, Devour, Suppression, Weaken, and Volatile. Let's go through these verbs slowly, one at a time. Invisibility is exactly what it sounds like. You do something to activate it, and you turn invisible for a few seconds. Enemies will stop shooting at you during this time, and you'll disappear from the radar. If you perform any action during this though, you'll lose your invisibility. Overshield is also exactly what it sounds like. It's a protective shield over your health bar that blocks a set amount of damage until the shield is either broken or the timer expires. Our third verb, Devour, is very special. You see, if you get a kill, or activate something that procs Devour, any kills while the Devour buff is active will do three things. First, it will extend the timer of Devour. Second, it will give you a chunk of grenade energy back. And third, it will completely heal your health to full. This happens on every kill under Devour. It is very powerful. Suppression as an effect removes any enemy hit by it from whatever abilities they have active and prevents them from activating more for a short time. PvE enemies also can't shoot their guns while suppressed. Weaken slows enemies down and causes them to take more damage for a short time, while also making it harder for them to aim. And our final verb, Volatile, is pretty interesting. When you apply the Volatile debuff to an enemy, well, they get debuffed. And then after you deal more damage to them while they're volatile, they will explode in a big ball of Void energy. And that about covers all of our verbs. And as you can see, Void is just very strong and all over the place. It's defensive, it's offensive, it's got support everywhere. It really does do a bit of everything. And with that, let's move on to our second pillar, Aspects. Alright, so Aspects, the two little boxes right here. These are what form the core abilities of your class, what you can or can't do. There are three unique aspects to Warlock, Hunter, and Titan respectively, or at least there are right now. They may add some in the future, they may not. And they can do a wide variety of things. Also, you can have up to 2 of these aspects equipped at once. To keep things from overwhelming you, I'm going to give an example of one aspect for each class, just so you can get a general idea of what they might do and how they might work. Alright, so let's jump into it. Warlocks, your simplest aspect is called Feed the Void. This aspect makes it so that any Void ability kill you get will activate Devour. That's it. It can be a kill from your grenade, melee, or super, it doesn't matter. They will now all activate Devour. You have other more complicated aspects as well, but I wanted to start with something easy. Hunters, I'm going to show you an aspect that's a little more complex. Trapper's Ambush is an aspect that lets you activate an ability called Quickfall. It's a dive attack that you can use while jumping in the air. Using Quickfall expends your melee energy charge at your feet. This smoke cloud weakens any enemies inside of it and makes you and any nearby allies invisible. Additionally, your smoke bomb melee now makes you and allies invisible whenever you throw it at yourself. In Titans, the aspect I'm going to show you is called Bastion. Bastion provides nearby allies with a Void Overshield anytime you cast your super. Also, using your Barricade class ability will also provide you and your allies with a Void Overshield, and that Overshield will continue to regenerate for as long as you stand near your Barricade. Now, these three aspects are just a taste of what you can come to expect. Some are simple, some are rather deep, but they define how you end up playing the class and what you can do. And there's one other feature that aspects have that leads right into our final pillar, Fragments. You see, Fragments are small little buffs or augments that you can equip to change your playstyle. Things that might not seem important on their own, but when paired with everything else can become incredibly powerful. And every aspect is somewhere between 1 to 3 fragment slots. However many fragment slots you have with both of your equipped aspects, that's how many fragments you are able to equip. Now, fragments can do a lot of different things. Some can even give you bonuses to your stats or take away from them. For example, Echo of Dilation makes you sneak faster and provides an enhanced radar with more information, while also providing a buff to your mobility and intellect stats. On the other end of the spectrum, Echo of Undermining allows your Void Grenades to now weaken targets, but massively decreases your Discipline stat, which is the stat that controls the speed at which your grenades recharge. These are just two examples of what fragments can do, but honestly, they're rather straightforward, and you can tinker with things and figure them out just by reading. So, with that out of the way, let's do a quick recap. Verbs determine the identity of a subclass and how it functions. Aspects provide you with your core abilities, also known as a kit. And fragments give you small buffs that allow you to augment your playstyle however you want. And that's all the basics. There's a lot of other things you can change with your subclass as well, a variety of grenades, melees, and other abilities. However, most of the time there is no correct one to choose. It varies by situation and what you're wanting to get out of it. So try them all. They are all very useful and worth your time. Experiment, have fun, do a little reading on your own. That's where the fun of build crafting comes into play. You can kind of do whatever you want and make the experience unique to you. But that's all I have time for today. I hope that was helpful, and if you haven't seen the Arc or Solar videos yet, I highly encourage you to check them out. Next on our list is the Stasis subclass, and that will wrap up all of the beginner's guides until Lightfall. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff down below, and I will see you beautiful people next time.